What's happening, Mark? How are you today, my friend?
Well, Dave Cooper, it's BS Friday Live, so I'm happy.
Happy, happy, happy? I know. It's you're happy, but it's snowing where you're at.
Could you believe that?
Where you must be up in northern Canada somewhere.
I'm just
Alaska?
hinting. I'm just hinting.
Alaska? Yeah, I know. I gotcha.
I
Hey,
know you know where I am, but everyone else, they have no idea.
so we got a time crunch. A lot of people hanging out. I'm not really sure which way to go today, so you're gonna have to pull in some guiding light for me. But outside of that, what an amazing show we're gonna have for everybody today. We are gonna show you how to collaborate at the highest level, how to get assistance at the highest level, how to build things using the best materials that are out there, and they've all been curated just for you. Is that
Just for you.
that's the end of the show,
And
folks. Thanks for watching.
yeah, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, YouTube, all the places to watch.
That's right.
And Dave, I'm trying to tabulate it, but I think there's 155 other shows that we've done in a row for people to watch on the YouTube.
Yeah, there is on the YouTube, and I'm sure it's even above that 155. We were just tabulating. We are at over 2,000 interviews in the last 3 years. Mark, can you even fathom that the Dave Cooper Live channel has that? And then we had BS Friday, the only show that we have never missed a Friday on to date. To date, I have not had more than a day and a half off in 3 years. I love it. I'm having so much fun with it. It's not that hard. It's great when
I,
you love what you do.
that sounds like a foreign language, Dave. What's a day off?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There is no time to take days off. We got a lot of problems to fix in the built environment, and that's what all these shows are about. And this one in particular gets into the science of how we do that. So why don't we get to getting here, Mark? Like, where do you want to start? I mean, I am just wow.
Do we have a
It's a
special
good thing
guest
I
in the
like
fish
all these
tank?
people.
We do.
Well, I think we do.
I'm
They
ready.
they
Hey,
look like nice people.
whoever the special guest is, Dave, you control all the tech. So let us know.
Well, we're going to start with this one right here because I'm seeing a big thumbs up coming through my window. What's up, Mr. Amore?
Hey,
Saint
it's
Amore.
Friday. Hey, happy to be here to one of the two harder working guys in our industry. You're right. You guys don't take days off. You guys are here. There's many a Friday that I miss you guys. And of course, I do have to go to the YouTube to get caught up with all the amazing stuff that you guys put out. And again, big thanks to Jennifer because she's part of the team too there. And
Awesome.
lots of great work going on. So it is Friday. Here you two are. And you guys are bringing some people on that are the industry movers and shakers. And it's really interesting. So, Dave, I like what we started with about this industry and what you guys are working on and putting towards how to improve it. And sometimes you got to look at our lovely box of construction and how do we improve it? How do we get a better system, a better process? And it's really intriguing because construction, for the most part, is innovative. We try to do a lot of innovative things, but we do have an issue with our productivity. So, how do we add our technology to productivity to speed up our process? And then while doing it, could we incorporate more technology in making our envelopes and our systems better? Because over the time, our buildings have gone from like cabins and wooden structures to these huge, massive buildings, and we're adding layer over layer over layer. And then a question is where do we get the layers? Who do we ask for help to make our buildings better? And so we have these two individuals we're bringing in today that are going to provide some assistance. So one is our good friend, Michael Ingui, who is the partner at Baxing Architects, founder of the Passives Accelerator, and co-founder of Source 2050 with John Knapp. And then we also have a very other dear friend of mine, Shannon Pendleton, principal at Sanderson Sustainable Design, co-host of the Passives Accelerator Construct and Tech Edition, in-house Passivos consultant with Source 2050, and is involved in so many other areas of the Passivos movement. So why don't we bring these two individuals in? They can dive in on what they're trying to do to improve the industry with this really cool thing called Source 2050, but even just talk about how our industry needs to adapt, needs to evolve, and look outside of the box like these individuals have done.
Love it. Big round of applause for everybody. Up,
What's going on?
and more.
Oh, John is there too. Sorry, I forgot to give intro to John. I didn't realize that he was good. John is an amazing individual. He, you know what? He doesn't need his own intro. He can just be there, smile, and just show off his good looks. He is an amazing individual, and I'm glad that he got to pop in
There's
there
more.
too. Because again, co-founder of Source 2050, and again, really the Mike, I love you, but he's been the guy working hard to get this system up and running and connecting all the dots to make sure that you look good, so that he could have a product to give out to the industry. You know that's the truth, John.
Cheers.
Say hello.
Cheers to John. Thanks for having us on, guys.
Yeah, well,
Thanks very much.
Mark, there's more. There's more. There's one more.
Well, the screen's full. Pop me off, bring them in, and I'll watch in behind.
No, we can leave you on, or do you have time to stay and join
Yeah,
us, Sean?
absolutely. I just want to make sure that they get all the airtime they deserve.
Hey, big shout out
It's
to
raining cool people out there.
It is, and hey, big shout out to Clay as well. I mean, he's been killing it on the video lately. Holy cow, I'm watching him. Better watch out, Mark. He's coming for us.
Larry can have my boots any day of the week. I love Larry Clay.
Well, here we go. Here's one more no stranger to danger or a stranger to this show. Zach.
Hello.
What's happening, Zach?
How's it going, everyone?
It's
There
going
Zach.
great.
Hello. Three of
Yeah.
my favorite, well, a whole bunch, 6 of my favorite people.
Nice.
6 of them.
Good to see you.
Zach, those Zoom backgrounds are really getting lifelike.
yeah, that's pretty good, huh? Yeah, the green screen is really great. So I'm here at the Red Willow project, which is a 11-unit multifamily passive house project going up in South Seattle. This is being built by Dan Whitmore and for Cascade Built. And Dan Whitmore is also a longtime leader in passive house practice. You know, he's trained a whole bunch of builders. So it's cool, really cool project. It's going to be affordable to middle income people, which is a big deal in Seattle, where housing costs are going way up. So it's really fun to be here. Skylar Swinford is also here, and we're doing some filming for the new YouTube channel that we just launched, Reimagine Buildings. So it's great to be here, and I just want to say how great it is to see Source 2050 on the show, and just to piggyback a little bit on Sean and sing the praises of these three. You got like this what is it? I want to say dynamic duo, whatever the alliteration is for three. Trifecta, the terrific trifecta. There you go. There's the alliteration. Where you have like this combination of technical expertise and the ability to build partnerships between companies, which is so important for a multi-vendor marketplace. This entrepreneurialism, and then also just a real deep understanding of what the marketplace needs and kind of what the pain points are for passive house builders and designers. So I think everyone's going to really enjoy what they have to share today. So cheers.
This is great. I feel like I'm on the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Here's a story.
And there's
Skylar.
and there's Skylar. Skylar is operating this drone.
Nice.
It's all legal. We're not in a flight path.
Fantastic.
Fully permitted drone, I'm assuming.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Totally.
Thanks for giving us a sneak preview, Zach.
Yeah,
What a
absolutely.
flattering
Absolutely.
introduction. Great to
Hey,
see you on
Zach,
site.
do you think that Skylar can land the drone inside of Dan Whitmore's bag of groceries?
That's good. That's good. We'll work on it. It's way
Love
up there right now.
Love it. Well, this is going to be a lot of fun today to talk about what you guys have going on. Source 2050. A little story, Mark. I don't know if you know this. Remember I told you I was in the Poconos like 2 years ago, and I ran into somebody in the middle of the Poconos, and they said, "Do you know Mark Willie?" And I'm sitting there going, "Are you a rabbit? Like, what are you talking about? Do I know Mark Willie?" That was John Knapp. John, you remember that? We were out there with Danny Glipsher.
I do, absolutely. Yep, up in Sullivan County.
Up in Sullivan County. Yep. So it's funny how our worlds crossed long before we even knew that you'd be on the Dave Cooper Live BS Friday show. Good thing you're
Exactly.
good thing you're a likable guy. If you're hanging out with Danny, you got to be good people.
That's true.
Awesome. Well, let's hop into it. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
Sure.
I'm going to
So, I
move
mean-
some people around here to get us leveled out. I think that'll be good.
Hey, Michael, why don't you give us a little interview? Hey, Michael, why don't you give us a little interview? Why don't you break down a little bit for what sources for the marketplace and why we're covering this today?
Yeah, cool. Thanks. And again, thanks for having us on. It's cool to see
Yeah.
Zach and Skylar there for a little bit too, and Sean. Nice. We wanted to build a marketplace for a long time, and very similar to the Passive House Accelerator that aggregates a lot of answers and shows a lot of projects and a lot of solutions for how you could build something, really just breaking down that barrier for different types of buildings: single family, multifamily, affordable, market rate, prefab, non-prefab, and just sharing those answers to bring that the ability for people to really do this at a broader scale. The thing that we hear time and time again is, I can't find anything, or I can't find everything, or it's too difficult, and it's just too difficult to scale. And that's really where Source 50 was born. Is just trying to get all of the companies into one platform that makes it just as easy to buy a passive house or a high performance building product as it would be a typical product. And because if it's not, the builders aren't going to do it. They're still on the deadline. They still got to make their stuff happen. And it works incredibly well. I'll let John and Shannon go into it. But very similar to the Passive House Accelerator not being the Passive House Accelerator without Zach. I don't know that I could have ever done, actually, I know I could have never done Source without John. John, I'll do a quick intro. I met him because we did his Passive House. It's a Passive Plus house, US's first Passive Plus house. And really, even when we were doing his house, just finding stuff, sourcing it, and paying people in like PayPal and stuff because they weren't set up. And we'll do it because we believe, but it's not scalable. And John knew it. And John's been a longtime advocate and supporter and advisor for the Accelerator and lots of other stuff. But he has the perfect skill set to run something like Source, which is like a big agreement company, has a law background, has been an entrepreneur for a while, totally understands the high performance building space, and just has that ability to just bring what, for me, sometimes seems like really difficult situations. Some people already have distribution. Some people already have salespeople. Some people don't have any of that. And John just has that ability to just bring them to a really clear place and allow them onto a platform that others can use. And then the platform's been done really well too. John's kind of brought that into the platform where the platform's just as easy to use. And as an architect, I can tell you, like, it does the things that I dream it could do, which is I get to work with someone like Shannon. We get to create a whole spec list, and we know what we want. I get to repeat that spec list on future projects, which means I don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. But then the contractors can all go there. So it de-risks it for the contractor. The contractor doesn't have to figure out what they've got to do in life. They can go to that thing, and all of a sudden they can buy it all in one place. You can press a button. You just do it. And all of a sudden it becomes easy. And in my opinion, all of a sudden it starts to become scalable. And before this, although I would love to say it was, it's just not. So finding solutions like this are so important. And again, John is the right person to do it. And having Shannon on board is huge. It's just that level of knowledge is just incomparable. It's nice. So anyway, it's fun to be involved with because I get to sit back and have coffee and watch.
I love the fact that as soon as you said Shannon's name, she disappeared from the screen and then came back. Love it. All right. So, you know
Michael,
what?
that was so flattering. And you were just talking about whether you make it expensive or whether you make
Let
it
me
easy.
see. The easy
I
button.
love that. I love that.
Oh, push them. Do they have batteries
No, I
in them?
took the batteries out. I'm sorry. No audio today.
Sean has one.
John's got me covered.
That was easy. That was easy.
Perfect. That was easy.
Michael's
John,
absolutely right, though.
I don't even know what to say after that intro. I mean, you really don't even have to talk about yourself anymore. It's kind of.
I don't. I did want to say that I told Michael in particular that when this is on YouTube, I'm going to scrub that for the quote where he said, John is the perfect person to launch this business. And I'm just going to take out to launch this business and play that first part for my wife.
Just on repeat over and over.
Right. Yes.
Every time you have a
I'm
bad
sure it'll
day,
be her
just play it.
meditation.
You might want to
Good.
play that at
No,
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then
Exactly.
considering Michael worked on your house, I bet the sound's really good inside those walls.
Exactly right. Yeah, it's very, very airtight, noise proof. Fantastic. Yeah, so thank you very much for that. So as Michael said, we, in the course of my project, really saw a lot of the pain points. This is a decade ago now, believe it or not. I moved back in fall 2015, started in 2013. Saw some of the pain points that were potentially going to slow down what would otherwise be the really rapid adoption of passive. The principles are intuitive. Once you kind of learn it, you can't unlearn it. It's just the best way to build a building, period. But we saw that sourcing and skills were still really difficult. There were a lot of pain points in those, and we started talking about how do we address them. The accelerator kind of grew out of some early talk about how to scale what Michael was doing with his own contractors, like sharing details, showing them what they were doing on their projects, just kind of raise the skill set among would-be competitors, just find collaboration despite competition. And that kind of DNA has stayed with the accelerator, and Zach has just been, incredible, and it's been inspiring to see what he's done. So it really left us to think, it was sourcing also really needed to be addressed that way in a collaborative way. And as Michael said, it's a very fragmented market. You've got vendors kind of all over the place with different markets, different channels, different supply lines, different distribution agreements. And it's really difficult to kind of herd those cats, right? You can't just say, here are our terms, sign up. You kind of have to understand their business pretty well before you're able to say, okay, this is how we can work with you, and do all that in the background. So it's really transparent to the person using the site. To them, it's just a ton of amazing, really cool, well-organized, curated products. They don't have to see all the sausage making behind it to actually get those products on the site. It's been challenging. It's been fun to do that. And vendors have been really receptive to it. I think that they have heard opportunities like this before, and it's too burdensome, and it's expensive, and all these other things. And we've really done our best to really meet them where they are. To just make it super easy to say yes, get exposure to your products, get them out in the market. So we've been really happy with that success. We've onboarded just about everybody that we've talked to. So really exciting on that front.
I love it, but I got a question.
Yeah.
Just real quick to clarify. We have so many new people watching this channel from YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Just a quick overview, Source 2050. Just what is it? If I'm new, everybody else I think here has been talking with you about it. Just tell me what it is. I'm new. I want to build it better. Why in the world would I even look at what Source 2050 is? But don't go in too much detail because we don't want to take away from, which way am I going? Shannon's presentation, because there's a presentation, folks. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's a multi-vendor marketplace. So you can think of it as a kind of Amazon-style marketplace where there's tons of products from different vendors all pulled together. And we've done two very important things that are the key features that we launch with. One, we took the time, every time we onboard a product, we take the time to go through it and pull out all of the performance data, certifications, all the ratings, everything else that a specifier, architect, engineer could possibly want to know about that product, and pull it all together into easily filterable attribute sections. So you have really for the first time the ability to look at competitive products that you would only normally find one through one distributor, one through a different distributor, one through one retail brick and mortar shop, maybe one somewhere else. But you can actually put them together side by side and check them. How do they compare? How do they stack up? Are they both vapor open? What do they have a declare label? All of the things that you would care about. What is the performance rating? What's the fire rating? What's the certification? And you may go into a category like insulation or membranes or tape, and you have a couple dozen solutions that you're starting with. And as you start putting in those filters, you say, we need this rating, we need this. And as you're checking those boxes, smaller and smaller and smaller, until you get down to 1, 2, maybe 3 products that match your spec. And then you can really see how they stack up side by side, whether it's price, availability, lead time, shipping, any other things that differentiate them, allow you to make an intelligent choice. So it's really an amazing tool just for finding solutions, But then the second thing that's really important is it's not just finding them, it's then sharing them with the contractor. When you're doing all that work on the design team, you're saving all of that into a shopping cart, into a spec book for that project. 123 Main Street, everything that I'm doing for 123 Main Street, I'm sticking in that spec list. So when the contractor selected and we're handing in the drawings, we're also handing that link, and you open that link and here's all the stuff that's called out in those drawings that normally they'd be scratching their head and be like, do you have a number for a distributor? Where do I find this? I'm looking at this German language website. Doesn't make any sense to me. What am I supposed to do? It's all right there, priced and available to purchase. So we're really bridging that gap between the build team, the design team, and the build team.
Love it. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And I'll say just very quickly as way of introduction, we have been working with project teams early on in the early stages, while they're still designing. And the smartest thing we've done, I think, since we've launched is we've brought Shannon on board, and Shannon is able to work with those teams right away and say, okay, what do you got? What are you doing? What are you trying to do? Where are you in the process? Do you have goals set? Let's take a look at your drawings. Let's take a look at whatever you have and see what we can do for you. See what's on source, and kind of hold your hand through the first project, show you how to use the site, how to use those filters, how you intelligently navigate it and build a spec list, and then walk them through that process. She's been fantastic.
Yes, she is fantastic, and she's gonna razzle and dazzle us.
She's blushing now. Yeah. Well, I loved that, John and Michael and Dave, Mark, Sean, and Zach, wherever you are. It's so great to be here with you guys. I love what you do, and as you can see, Dave, Mark, it's about the people and the tool, right? So just like if you're not following Dave and Mark, you're wrong. If you can't work with John and Michael, you can't work with anybody. And that's why I'm here. The people brought me in first. I knew the mission was aligned with what's important to me in the build industry, solving the problems that we have on the design side, the build side, and the sourcing side, supply chain, right? So in a nutshell, we are here to help everyone find the best solutions for their projects. They're still going to do the specs. They're still going to do the purchasing, but we're going to give them a bunch of free automated tools that make it so much easier to compare on the things they care about for their project, their goals. And then we give them a personal touch. So they get this highly automated tool and these highly engaged, friendly people. And we try to make it as easy as possible and fun because, like you, Dave, we can't stop doing it. There are no days off. We just love it. We're eating it up all the time. Yeah.
Shannon, did you say free? Like free? Like really? It's free?
Everything's free.
Excellent. Love it.
Oh, I have to have that. That's perfect.
So I was going to say one more thing about just how the team has worked, but also just how Shannon has interacted with us and others. So, I mean, first of all, we've got three hosts from the accelerator on today too, which is kind of cool. But kind of what's happened on the accelerator is people come to us and they've got great ideas. Even doing the lives the way we're doing now, Sean brought to us, I don't know how many years ago, and then there have been so many ideas that have happened since, and we all just say, yeah, let's go, let's do it, and we just try it, and it's been fun, and it's really developed and branched out because of that. And I would say the same thing's happening with Source, where I can't tell you how many emails I'm copied on where someone comes in, they're like, listen, I was on the site. You need to get these people on. You need to get these people on. And what's cool about that is they're onboarding the companies people are actually asking about and wanting. And whereas yeah, you can onboard everybody in the universe. But what do people really need? What do they want? And people have been, it's just been so much fun. And it's fun. I really do feel like I'm watching from this standpoint because John and Shannon have it covered so well. But it's been great. It's really curated by the people who are buying it. And they're like, hey, how do I get it?
It's like being in the organic aisle of the supermarket and all your favorite food is like right there in one aisle. So you can just run in and run out of the store, Yeah. It's perfect.
I would just jump in with 2 quick points. One, 100%. I would say I haven't done the math recently, but at one point I looked and it was something approaching a third of the products, the SKUs that we have on the site were the product of conversations we had with our earliest projects as they came in. They said, it would be great if you had X, or I would love a better selection of thermal break materials, or whatever it is. And it's great information for us to know. We're here to help, right? We want to know what the market demand is. And we want to find solutions. So we went out and found those products on board. So a significant amount of the products that are there are the product of conversations that we've had with teams. And so we encourage people that are working with us, or anyone that's just casually looking on the site, to say, this is the thing that always drives me crazy. I can never find a good solution for X. Shoot me an email. 100%. We're eager for that feedback. Second is that you guys are in very good hands. I have to excuse myself. I have a 1:30 coming up. No rest for the wicked. But this was wonderful to be on, and I will talk to all of you very soon.
Yeah, he's a little busy. He's a little busy launching a new site so everybody can build it better. I couldn't imagine that it takes any work.
Everybody wants a piece of John. Can't blame him.
Good.
And he's about to have a call with a company that we really want on board. So you go.
Hey, have fun with that, John, and just smile. Yeah. They'll jump right in for you.
Dave, hit the eject button. Okay. Pop him out.
You're out of here. See ya.
Hi, John.
That's it for John. And I have to say, it's kind of sad to see him go, but we're still here. So let's keep going. Let's talk about Shannon. You got some fun stuff for us today.
I do. And it all comes from wanting to meet people where they are, right? So when somebody gives us a call and they come and they want to check out Source, we do a couple of things. One, we give them a tour. We show them the site, which is what I'm going to do with you guys. But then we also invite them to give us a project, show us their drawings. Because when we're talking about high performance, we need to know a lot of things about a project beyond just its goals. We need to know its vapor profile. We need to know its climate. We need to know very specific things. Once we understand that project that way, we can recommend so many products and so many different kinds for each application that then they can create those compare matrices. So let's jump right in and do that. If you want to share my screen, this is what the jump page looks like. Kind of pretty, huh?
I feel like I'm in SpaceX all of a sudden.
Well, we put what matters right there on the front, right? Why are we all doing this? You could put some pictures of kids there too, and we'd have it all covered. So this is our brand slate at the moment. And I think this one's even dated because we've onboarded since I grabbed this screen. But what we want people to do is log on to source2050.com and then go right up here to the account dashboard, create a free account. Put your account details in there so you know how to sign back in, and then send us some drawings and we will go over them together and highlight your drawings and help you sort through the categories and find the products you're looking for. So if you're looking for membranes and tape, you hover over this and this flies out and gives you a whole bunch of subcategories. Once you're in your subcategory, you can start to filter down by everything from air tightness, application process, how you want to put it on, structural requirements, fire ratings, permeability, and then you can even sort by certifications and compressive strength and whether or not it's in stock. So once you get a few products that you're interested in looking at side by side and really digging deeper on, you just hit this cute little two-way arrow compare button, and that will put that product up here in your compare list on your account dashboard. And once you have a few of those, you can click that and get all of them side by side. And so I've compared a couple of structural thermal break materials, right? Because that's what I'm after today. And so I'm looking at a couple different things. The first thing I see is pictures, descriptions, prices, and then I get down to R values, smoke index, everything side by side on this great matrix. And I can print this and I can email this and share it with my team. Or I can add it to a spec list and I can make a spec list for my project straight up. Then once I've got my spec list, I can throw a bunch of details in here. I can share the link. My whole project team can jump in and see this. I can print it. I can put it in an email for them and they can look at these side by side, or they can look at the whole list. Then once we've agreed as a design team, this is what we want, we hand it to the builder immediately. Because let's say we've got an energy model. we've got a lot of products in that energy model that tell it to perform the way it's going to get us to our certification. If we need to swap products out, then that means we have to do redundant stuff. And we don't want to do redundant stuff. We want the builder in from the very beginning, the structural engineer in from the very beginning. And we want everybody having that conversation in early design so we can capture that price and all those lead times and know what we're going to order. So we hand this to the builder, and just like a classic designer, I have a quantity of one in here for everything. So my builder comes in, throws in a quantity that makes sense to the project, and then gets the pricing and shares that spec list. And it looks just like this. Absolutely beautiful. And then I'm going to actually give you a window in to Source as well. So here's that similar compare list. You've got incredible descriptions on each of the products. John and Michael and the whole team behind Source. We've got a build person named Justin who's like standing by, ready to take that handoff from the design to the build side and talk about every single characteristic for whatever product you're looking at. So we are ready to go. We are excited, and you can see right down to whether it's in stock or not. But one of my favorite features, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then I hand it back, is you can search by really innocuous terms like parapet. I have a parapet problem. Please, Source, help me. So I just throw parapet in there, and look what comes up. It's fantastic. And when you roll over these, often you can see where these things go in the building envelope and what they're made of. This is one of my favorites. And as a builder or as a designer, if I can look at this and see where it goes in the building envelope right away, it just makes my life so much easier.
I think this isn't, well, first of all, you have a voice for, like, you should be a voice person where you read a book. You know, I'd listen to it all day. You're very good at it. I love the idea that I don't have to know the exact product that I need. I just need to know what function I need it to do and where I'm doing it. And this is going to give me a whole option of products that work as a system that I can use. At least that's what I'm gathering. Am I on it?
You're so on it. Yeah. If you give me a generic,
doesn't happen often.
Give me a generic wall section, I'll highlight air barrier. And then I'll send you a spec list with 7 air barriers in it, and we'll talk about which one's best for you.
Yeah, you want a complete solution set. Otherwise, it's not helpful. 1. 2, that solution set might be 4 or 5 different companies coming together to create one thing, using that parapet as an example. But what's cool about that is then the contractor can go and then press one single button and buy it. And it just comes from all those companies, all to their job site, instead of trying to have to find out, okay, great, I like it. Now, how do I get it? And then some of these companies are really big and it's kind of easy. Some of these companies are really, really small and it's really tough. So now it doesn't matter. You just press one button and poof.
I love it. Are you actually hovering over the details? Is that what I was just seeing on the
photos? When you pull up a single product, you're going to get everything about that single product, right? So you can add it to your spec list. You can compare. You can read the description. You can check out the files and downloads. I got a material safety data sheet here, installation instructions, health product declaration, technical data. Imagine you're a builder, you're a designer, you need this for your specs. I don't have to re-describe my project to 10 different manufacturers and get all of those downloads from 10 different places. I can just download them out of my spec list once I've put them in there. And the builder can do that for their closeout book, for their client at the end. And then what we're really moving toward is a carbon footprint in the checkout and an immediate way to set up maintenance things like ordering filters for the unit that you got straight from the manufacturer on a schedule. You know, let's make it easy. Project closeout really isn't project closeout. Our buildings are going to last hundreds of years. We need these high performance products so that we get to that embodied carbon problem and we get to that happy customer at the end.
And it's free.
And it's free.
It is. Here, perfect question right now, perfect timing. How could someone suggest a product for you to list?
Well, you just did. Source2050.com. Shannon at source2050.com. John at source2050.com.
Yeah, I would say bring on the products, bring on the projects. Email John and Shannon. And we've got a lot of people who are buying stuff now. So if you've got a construction project going on right now, you think you know what you want, but you want to see if you can get a better price by getting something else. You can email John and Shannon. It doesn't have to be something that's in design. I would say the contractors have been just as excited to be on the platform with everybody.
We've had a couple first-time builders, first-time passive house builders who just want to come in and go over the specs on their stuff and talk about sequencing. Yeah. We want to talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's more important that you find a solution than you find a product. That's why we're here.
So you're solution providers.
We try to be.
I love it.
Yeah, I just want to chime in too. What I love, I'm an operations person, so I just love the process here, right? The process is making it better by speeding it up, by including all the right, pinch points and being able to figure them out really quickly. And the fact that, if you look at what you just explained of how exactly, that's what I want to dive into, is just the time that you would have to compare between website and website. Now you have it all on one page. And it's very clear and concise. You're looking at those very detailed, like, oh, what's the perm rating between the two? Oh, my building envelope consultant says I need to have this. Oh, I've got two that are within it. Oh, now which one's the best price? Which one's available? Go. All right. To me, that's the biggest part, is you take that process of the thinking and the methodology and sometimes that anxious like, hey, am I making the right choice? Mm-hmm. Now you have that decision making is being able to speed it up. And again, we're talking about the time, and time is money. And this is just a really good way of having a platform to compare with your consultants. You can have those conversations while you're working on the design, and you're not having to pull up website after website or go, having to fly people into one room where all the products are there and they can touch and feel and have catalogs and catalogs. You now can have these more virtual meetings where people can be working on teams around the world and have an outlet and a platform to connect. And I think you start to look at the process that Shannon just described. To me, that's just really appealing.
Absolutely. And they can share that spec book. They can all add what they like. And let's face it, just like the best passive house window can fail on install, the best product fails if it doesn't get to the site on time. So we like to have our basis of design, an alternate 1, alternate 2, and after COVID, alternate 3, please.
I'll give you 2 examples from just this week that really highlight, Sean, what you were just saying and what Shannon was saying. Our office, we do a lot of passive houses. We know what we're up to, but we still spend a lot of time doing what Sean described, making sure this product's really still good. And the specs are constantly changing, and the products and the companies are constantly changing. So keeping up with, what's out today, is that still the model number today? So having, right now I've got 3 townhouses all in construction drawing phase. And instead of us doing that individually and spending a lot of time, it's hard to bill for or impossible to bill for. Right now, they're all on with Shannon. And Shannon's on. And what's cool about that is we're getting to pick and choose what product lines we do want to use, because now it's even easier to compare. So it's really, really helpful. That's one. And then number 2, I was copied on, John's on this one, so I can talk about what I was copied on. There was someone upstate New York who needed windows really quickly, and contacted me. I put him in touch with John. John's like, you've got to go with this person, and immediately put them in touch with Darren from Wythe. So duh, and the company. They had a call with Darren. They're like, of course we used it. They just didn't know. They're calling people from across the world. They had no idea. They're 2 hours from his factory. So it's just different things that happen, and that could just become much, much faster. And I would say, this is all in the crowd of people who are really into it. But those, coming back, Dave, to what you were describing, why would I do this if I were new? I tripped a lot when I got into this universe, a lot. I was on my face a lot, and you get up because you believe and you want to get there, but that's really hard to do as an architect. You need to finish on time, on budget. You need to get paid for the hours, and de-risking it and having a service or a situation like this, especially if you've got someone like Shannon and John on board. It really, really helps someone who's new coming into this, and maybe makes them not trip so much.
Yeah, and the whole method of like scaling the industry to getting everyone to be building at a higher level and building better buildings. Again, this is what's nice about this tool, where again, it is free because we need to collaborate and share and grow so we don't have as many mistakes in the industry where we potentially have bad buildings because people didn't know. So the more that we are working together, collaborating and scaling as fast as we can, really accelerating the process, this is another tool in everyone's toolbox they can pull into. And again, Mike, you're also involved with the Passive House Accelerator, which is an information tool. So all these combination of resources are out there for individuals to grab onto, use in their methodology with their teams to not make the mistakes that we've all made or potentially could have made. But right at the last second, maybe we learn that little snippet to make the process faster, better, and less problematic. And here's another tool.
It's a fast shortcut. Some of these brands our friends are used to seeing. Of course, you've seen Zola over the years. One of the first brands that was really broadcasted well in the Passive House world. And then you get Prosoco that's on the screen now. But you saw the Coltraco, right? You're seeing Icon Windows. You're seeing our good buddy Bob from Wick, right? Our friends from Intelligent. Rotoplus is on there with their immense amount of specs. This is a lot of materials. And while we focus our conversations a lot these days on Passive House, let's be sure to say that all projects deserve resiliency, longevity, right? Durability. And so you don't have to be Passive House minded. Hope you get there, but your high performance projects will all benefit from this wonderful selection.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, Mark, because even when we have a zero energy building and even when we have amazing products, we have to put them together right, or they're going to create thermal bridging, they're going to create condensation, and they're going to really create a risk problem for us in terms of the longevity, the indoor air quality, the performance, and ultimately how long the structure lasts. We want to use these embodied carbon materials once, and we want them to last a very, very long time. So if you want to describe your project to us, just reach out, send us some drawings, ask for a tour, and you'll only have to explain it once, and we'll all be very excited to help you. Hey, Peter Molinar is here.
He has a question.
He just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Peter.
Peter, it's your birthday. I don't have my birthday song lined up. Let's sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. That's about all you're going to get. But hey, happy birthday, Peter. Thanks for always watching, man. We appreciate you. So he does have a question. Does Source 2050 suggest a compatibility of products with others?
Of course. Of course. And, the easy
It's almost a silly question.
The easy answer is if you stay within the family material that you are working in, you're going to have the warranty that manufacturer provides because you're staying within that space.
Yep.
But what's wonderful with Passive House Accelerator is we have all of these project videos and articles and podcasts where people who have gone before us have done a project and have tested dissimilar materials. They've done adhesion tests. They've done, moisture monitoring, or they've done hydrothermal analysis. And so we can give people a link to that video and say, hey, check out this video because this project is in your climate. It's a similar wall assembly to what you're looking at. Check it out. I mean, this is gold. I mean, I love sending people the Kane PA project that my buddy Norm, who isn't far from you, Dave, just certified Enerfit Plus commercial. I think the first one ever. And they used all kinds of great products on existing masonry. They created some thermal bucks for their window installations. It was really, really cool. I point to that one all the time.
I love it. All right, we got about 10 minutes before Michael and everybody has to jump here. Hey, Greg Ugaldi had a comment too. DC live with an all-star team today. I agree with you, Greg. Thank you, Dave, Mark, and Sean for bringing us Shannon, Michael, and John, to include Zach and the drone team. Great info. Hey, listen, we got to start collaborating more with those guys, right? I love that Greg tunes in each and every day. Thank you, Greg. All right, so I want to simplify this, right? I don't know anything about building Passive House. I don't know anything about better products than what I know we can buy at Home Depot. How do I get started? I watch this show. Just give me this snippet. I go to your website, and then what do? I have a set of plans. I'm a builder, but I don't know where to start. How do I start?
Sign up, make an account, reach out to us, share your drawings, and we will get right back to you. Hey, look, Sean's
Bam.
ready to go.
You go, Sean.
You have a set of drawings.
Yeah, and Dave, I would say that issue doesn't go away when you have experience, because I think, as Sean said it earlier, you're always questioning, like, am I really getting it right? So, I could see, in fact, actually, folks in my office did do this. They kind of made a bit of a list of what we thought we wanted from the site, and then emailed Shannon and said, so does it really work? Again, it's just yet one more thing to de-risk it. And the contractor on one of those jobs is already on with them, and they're ready to, way too much ready to buy. But we're only permanent. That contractor wants to buy right now.
Anyone can use this tool, Dave, early in design, from the mom and pop shop to the prefabs, right? And that's really what we want to do, is automate it so that everybody can use it as quickly as they need to.
Ooh, so you'd work with the industrialized manufacturing space, and they could come to you guys, and you could help them build out their products that would
We're already talking.
Yeah.
They were actually, two of them were actually early. They weren't really advisors, but early people who came on and told us what the site would have to do in order for them to use it. And I think it works very well for prefab in both directions potentially. I think it's really, really interesting. And then just coming back to the companies, just because I want to make it clear, because I think we've been clear about who can buy on it. And, whether you need something like tomorrow, or whether you're just planning a project. But in terms of just companies that are onboarding, because I think that's something that comes up a lot, because there are already people out there, or companies out there who have a pretty robust network. They're invited on. Like, I would say 2 or 3 of our biggest collaborators, I'll call them, are distributors, like, who are distributing their stuff already, and we're just helping them distribute a lot more of it. Collaborator, not competitor, and just bringing it to even more people. And by being on, the benefit is you get to have your stuff as part of a whole system that someone's going to be buying. So I would say that, depending on the size, if I'm a small manufacturer and I've just started to build that thing, and I want to find a place to sell it, we're a perfect place, because that's also a great place to do it, especially new stuff. So it's hard to figure out, like, how do I break into it? But also for those who are really into it and already have their network set up, I would say that, we've got a couple of people on who fit that bill pretty quickly. And that's what's great about having John on. John doesn't care. What I would just describe would be very difficult for me to figure out, like, what that looked like. But John will send you something in like an hour that makes it seem so easy. I wonder why he didn't do it already.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what it's all about, right? It has to be easy. And think about it. I mean, you're curating everything because the suppliers haven't done this yet. So you guys would be the first ones to do that, which will make people look at that side of the industry much, much more. So you're going to bring a lot of light to this industry in Passive House and industrialized construction just by building out this platform. And I hope it's super successful moving forward. How could it not be? You're the only people doing it that I know of, like, doing it to the level that you're doing it, right? So
well, and it's just going to get deeper and deeper. We are going to have something for everyone. I can see in the future when we've got just an interiors department for healthy interiors, and right now, with everybody trying to get their credits for their certifications, and now investors trying to get their ESG credits, which are all tied to green building, all tied to materials. Or if you want incentives because you're in New York or you're in Massachusetts or you're somewhere where you can get a little bit of cash or a tax write-off or a tax break, It's kind of a no-brainer. Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for having us on. It's been an absolute blast. And Sean, I'm so glad you could join us today.
Yeah.
I can't
Well,
wait to
again,
see you soon.
from the builder perspective, the last few years with all the costs of all the, issues with logistics, being able to see in stock and the price and knowing that I can get it. I agree with that other builder that wanted to buy us stuff because we've had so much uncertainties about where we can get our stuff that we've had to plan in our schedules, like length times for getting materials. Like, when did we ever consider we just be like, oh, it's Monday, let's go to the store and get it. And now we're like, oh, we don't get it for 4 to 6 weeks. That means my project stops for 4 to 6 weeks. It's from a builder perspective, that little line item of in stock, makes me smile.
Before I was doing this, when I was just doing a few buildings at a time with my custom builder friends, I would call them and I would say, which supply house do you use? What's the name of the person at the desk that you like the best? I'm going to call them and I'm going to see if they can get the product that I'm going to specify that you probably haven't used yet.
Yeah.
And if they don't already have it, I'm going to see if I can help them get it. So I think all of us have been working really hard to help each other for a long, long time. It's time to let the robots do that work.
Shannon, I want a reminder for folks too. I've been on the contractor side, the manufacturer side, the supplier side, and back and forth on all of them. When you see the click from Source 2050 that it's in stock, that doesn't mean then you go about your other business for several weeks and then click back, right? It means when it's in stock, you also plan right then, right? So in the high performance world, it is not uncommon to order windows before a permit is issued, right? It is not uncommon to have a nice shipping container on site that has the membranes and that has it in sequence to what you need first at the door side and what you need later at the back. So you see that it's in stock, but then take the next step. And after you click it, order it, do yourself a favor. It will save you time.
And it will save you money. You can shop on here. I'm not on the pricing side at all. I stay away from that because I'm really focused on design, right? But I've heard John and I've heard Justin speak so many times about how when we onboard a product, we never make a product more expensive by being involved. So we have all the manufacturers guaranteed lowest prices. And if you've got a multifamily project or if you've got a bundle coming, they can negotiate bulk pricing for you. And they can also negotiate delivery in a single truck. So if you're in Manhattan and you can only close the street for 5 minutes, maybe you want it all on one truck.
I love it. I love it. Hey, we're about out of time here, and we're going to make everybody's schedule work for them today. I love this. Michael, Shannon, Mark, Sean, all of you. Thank you so much for joining. Hey, make sure you tune in next week. Monday, we got a big lineup on our expert interview, product spotlight, and again, BS Friday. So keep an eye out for all that. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, like Shannon said, you're wrong. If you're not following Source 2050, you're wrong. If you're not following Sean St. Omer and Mark, you're wrong. I mean, come on. How many wrongs can there be in one show? Lots of wrongs. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye now.